Hello guys, it's your boy AD back up in another video. Now in today's video, we're doing if Naruto was insane and had a yandere girlfriend part 2. So yeah. Anyways, this video started like for the next part, and yeah, shout out to NEZ who made this thumbnail for me. So yeah, big shout out to him. He's a pretty good YouTuber as well. He makes Naruto what ifs, and he made like one. He said he wanted to make more not the deck what ifs as well. But yeah, if you're interested in those, go over and check that out. But yeah, anyways, for following you, let's just get the real story. Off. I just want to apologize in advance for any like noise in the background or if I messed up, because yeah. Anyways, yeah, just I apologize for that in advance, so when it happens I don't have to keep apologizing. But yeah, anyways, to start this wave off with Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage of the Leaf, Yellow Flash and all that, as he'll basically be sitting in his office behind his desk, as he'll basically be signing paperwork due to him being the Hokage and having to do that as his duty, as you basically suddenly feel a shiver go down his spine. As we skip over to Naruto and as we see with a grin that looked like it was about to basically tear her face right off her head, as we see Kushina suddenly cough up a glove of blood, as she would fall to her knees, as she was basically be looking up at a smirking and a boy basically walking next to her, as she'll basically say why did you basically do that, as we see a knife in Kushina's basically chest, as Naruto would look to see her basically on the ground, as Naruto would stop from, as she was about to step into Kushina's face while using some of her goddess like powers, as it would have destroyed her entire head. But now to stop her, as would basically say, but darling, she tortured you, so many years and did so many bad things to you. Why would you forgive her? As Naruto would look at her shock, then amusement, as he would basically start to chuckle, as he would say, I didn't forgive her. I hate her with all my being for what she did to me, but I want revenge. As Kushina would basically say, as Kushina would say, but why? I've never done anything to you. I've never done anything to any of you. I've never even met any of you. As Naruto would basically bend down to a level, as he would look at her in the eyes, as he would basically put a hand on her cheek, as he would basically say, we definitely have met after all. You basically stabbed me with your chakra chains every week, taking all my chakra, then let me to the mercy of those villagers, to the mercy of those damn villagers. As you basically look at her, as she would look at him in horror, as he would realize who he is, as Naruto would smirk, as he would say, yep, it's me, your dear son, with a very big sarcastic behind that, as Naruto would basically pat her cheek, as then he would slap her, kind of like how Meliodas did to Feldris, like he like pat him on the cheek like 2 times and then he slapped him away. Basically, he did that, as he sent him away, flying into a wall, breaking it. As Naruto would say, as much as I would like to kill you right now, I will have to wait, as I want to enjoy it as much as possible. I will make you and Mia to watch as I destroy everything you hold dear to you. As you'll be smirking pretty evilly, as Menma and Mito would be looking terrified, but they could do nothing, and Crash as well. But basically they could only watch as their mother and like well, Kakashi kind of saw Kushina as a mother figure, to be honest. So yeah, basically, they were watching her as their mother got basically beat up. As the reason why they were not attacking Naruto and was simple. Used her powers to stop their body from, like, basically he stopped time. She stopped time where they were at, except for their brains, eyes, and ears, so they could basically see and understand what was happening. As would basically deactivate her power, like the time stopping thing on Mito and Kakashi. Wait, was and Sasuke as well, since he was in the team, but he didn't really care too much, to be honest. Like, yeah, basically, uh, she would stop her powers, cancel her powers, allowing them to move once again. So, as Mema would basically wash at but was basically kicked away by Naruto, as a portal would then appear behind and Naruto, as they would basically get sucked away and teleporting away, as they basically would appear on the cliff, as they would look at each other, as Naruto would suddenly kiss her, shocking her, but she would enjoy it a lot. As, yeah, if in canon, yeah, she's basically, like, from the actual anime she's from, called Future Diary, she's basically like, yeah, she's like kind of insane, and she basically wants to do that stuff and all that stuff like that with, like, the person she loves, which in this case is Naruto. So yeah, even if Naruto was like basically wanting to do it all day, she would literally do it. So if Naruto at some point in the series does anything weird, like, don't think Naruto is doing, like, raping her or anything like that. Just, like, know that she doesn't mind, basically. Like, she literally wants to do it. So yeah, as Naruto would suddenly start kissing her, shocking her, but she would enjoy it a lot. As they would basically start making out, as they would basically pull apart from each other to catch their breath, as they would basically start going at it again, as Naruto would push her onto the ground, getting on top of her, as she started to basically get ready to undo her dress, but was interrupted by Naruto suddenly basically coughing up blood. And also, is wearing something, like, basically, like I said in the first part, she's wearing something basically dark. It's like, let me check for it. She's wearing something like this. Basically, yeah, basically something like this, but for, like, yeah, she's basically wearing this. So yeah, oh my gosh, well, my bad. I lost where I was, but yeah, she's basically wearing that, and basically, she would look up to see Naruto coughing up blood on her face, as we basically see Hidan and Kakuzu, as Hidan just stabbed Naruto with his three-headed scythe, as then he would pull it out of his back, from Naruto's back, as Kakuzu would say, now hurry up and do your stupid ritual and be done with it. As we basically, so we can go get the two tails beast. As Hidan would basically say, yeah, whatever, Kakuzu. As he would basically start to draw his pentagram, like, the little thingy that's in his neck, and like like his necklace, and like he like draws it on the ground with blood. He would draw the same thing on the ground, but with the blood coming from Naruto. As then Naruto would basically get up, as you basically look pissed as hell, as we basically had a similar look, but for different reasons, and hers were a bit, her look was way worse than Naruto's. As Naruto would say, how dare you, basically, you piece of shit, attacking me right now after I met that be of a mother again, and now that I basically was getting ready to have a basically good time with my girlfriend. Yeah, basically, you guys interrupted me. I will not let this slide. As Hidan will basically say, it's not like you can do anything about it. I'm immortal. He would basically lick the blood from the scythe, as his body would change, like where the skin is supposed to be would be like black, and like the bones would be showing. As then he would basically put a metal spike and stab himself in the leg, making Naruto fall down in pain. And if you're wondering why Naruto is dying, he's immortal from the power that gave him. Basically, is like a goddess, like I said in the first part, and she gave Naruto her powers, which gave him a lot of chakra and some other powers as well, which I didn't really tell you guys what they are. Well, at least not a lot of them. But yeah, he can do stuff like pretty much he can somehow control time and stuff like that. He can also like shoot beams out of his hands and all that, and he can like he's immortal basically. He can like get stabbed and all that, but like he barely he basically is can't die like he done, but like he has way better healing than him, kind of like Bond from 30 Sins, but not to his degree as well. It doesn't work like that. It's just like he gets stabbed, but he's not gonna die basically. Kind of like he done, but he has Hashirama's healing basically. So yeah, and basically that's why he's not dying. And yeah, and he also can't really feel pain anymore because like he felt too much pain, and yeah, basically all of his past like basically traumatized him to a point where like he doesn't really feel pain anymore. So he's too used to pain to the point where his brain can't really see the difference between normal and pain, because like he spent like 15 years just straight up pain. So yeah, anyways, sorry about this little interaction thingy, but yeah, Hidan would stab himself in the leg, making Naruto fall down in pain. Well, not really in pain, just like fall down because he can't really feel pain. He just can't move his leg, as he would basically smirk, but then his smirk would basically disappear as he would basically get sent flying away, and basically cut into 100 pieces, as would basically be standing over him with a katana in her hand, as I'm pretty sure I saw a katana picture right there. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Basically this katana in her hand right there, that's basically the one she has, as basically yeah, she would be standing over him, as then basically would basically be standing over him, as she would basically say, well, if you can't die, I'll make sure you basically regret having your immortality in what you did to my Naruto-kun, as she'll basically fix use her powers to fix Hidan's body, but then she'll basically send him into a place where like he would basically see Lord Jashin die and ignore him forever, while his body was basically being destroyed and fixed at the same time, and the air was burning hot and freezing cold. Pretty much the same thing like Purgatory from 7 Deadly Sins, but if you don't know that, just think exactly what I just said, but just like you can add some more thingy that just basically puts you in pain or whatever. As basically, yeah, he'll be having a really, really bad time in there, as he'll be seeing genjutsus are like his biggest fears, being Jashin ignoring him and like dying and everything. So yeah, as he also like has to see a whole village, like the whole world flourish, but he can't do any sacrifices to Lord Jashin. So he's pretty much suffering like hell. As meanwhile, Kakuzu was basically fighting Naruto. Well, more like he was getting pulled apart by Naruto, as Kakuzu was basically sent flying away, as he sent not flying away. He sent his arms, like he shot his arms at Naruto. Naruto would basically just grab them and pull the arms towards Naruto as well, as like the string would basically run out, making Naruto like snap them, and basically Kakuzu lost his arms. basically by Naruto turning them off and then burning them, destroying them, as they will be gone completely. As then he'll basically suddenly appear right in front of him, as all of his 5 hearts would explode, making him drop dead on the ground. As Naruto would basically glare at his dead body, as he would say, "You piece of shit! You interrupted me with the one of the only good time I can have ever since that day," as he's referring to the day that he basically snapped. So yeah, as Naruto and Yuno would basically teleport away, as they would arrive in a cave, as they would basically stay there for a week, as then they will basically go deeper into the cave to see a giant humanoid statue, as it had chains and shackles around his arm and 9 eyes, as they were all closed. As then a man with his eyes closed and a girl would appear on one different finger each, as they would both had black cloak with red cloud, which were like outlined by like a white on them. As then a swirling vortex would appear on another finger, with as a man with orange marks would appear, and a plant like man with like half his body being white and other half being black, and had a giant fly trap on his head, would basically come out of the finger. As then the first 2 people that were there, like the girl and the guy with the eyes closed, they'll be on the same. They would look like they were on the same sides, like basically, but the other 2 newcomers were not, as they basically they were not really on the same side as them, but they were wearing the same cloak. As then the man with orange mask would speak, as you'd basically say, how is our plan going so far? As the man with the girl would open his eyes, revealing purple eyes with black wings in them, as they were basically going, as he would say, they were going well, except that Kakuzu and Hidan appeared to have been killed. But as the man with the mask would basically ponder for a second, as he would basically say, well, they were not the easiest to control, but their death is troublesome. Do you know who or what killed them? As the girl would basically say, no, we only know that Kakuzu got his arms and heart destroyed, and we didn't find his body, only a pool of his blood and his weapon basically in the ground. As the masked man would basically look at the plant-like creature, as he would say, Zetsu, I need you to go get the information and find out who killed them. As it would basically, Zetsu would say, yes, Madara-sama. As then the man would basically say, Pain, I need you to go and call the others. As basically Pain would nod, I just say Conan, as the girl would basically burst into paper, as we skip over to Konoha Gakure, as they would basically got to not Konagakure, freaking heading village, what the fuck, Tazuna's town, basically like land country, like no, not land country, wave country, my bad, I forgot what's it called for a second. But yeah, we skipped there, as they basically got to Tazuna's house, as Kushina and all them were like in the house and shit, and Kushina was like healing up from the stab, as Kushina was sleeping, healing, and she was having a dream, and this was not really a dream, more like she was remembering her life. This was basically about her and her family, as she would basically see Naruto and Mema and Mito after they were came to their house. Mema like basically right after the United attack, as they came to the house. Freaking hell, I lost my voice for some reason. But yeah, basically they would Mema and Mito would always be crying, causing a ruckus and hitting each other, but Naruto would always just calm down and relax and not really cry unless it was necessary, like if somebody actually did something to him. As then when he basically would cry, as the Mema and Mito would be crying, when the Mema and Mito would be crying, and she was busy, Naoto would basically usually call over to them and just hug them, basically making them calm down and make them, yeah, which always used to make her smile and be happy. And Mema and Mito will basically go back to basically give her mostly always give her a headache, but she was still happy nonetheless. As then she would basically skip over, like, she see a different memory to 3-year-old Naruto, as he was basically home sitting with his siblings, as they will basically be learning how to read and write. As when he got a letter wrong, he would basically just smile and try again, and if he still didn't get it right, he would basically ask Kushina what it is, as she would respond to him by smiling and as well and telling him what it is. But Mema and Mito, they will always hit the desk and basically make a lot of workers and basically be like, oh, like, basically they would hit the desk and get mad and would hit Naruto, saying, teach us as what like, teach us what this is. A demon like you doesn't deserve to know how to read this. We should be the one that know how to do it. But Kushina usually would stop them before it got any worse, as she would basically see another image, well, more like a memory, as we basically see Naruto sleeping as Kushina was washing some dishes, as Mema and Mito would come downstairs, as they would jump on Naruto's stomach, as Naruto basically wake up screaming, as that would hurt him, as Mema and Mito would proceed to beat him up, as Kushina would just ignore that, as he would basically just get beat up. As basically the previous night, Minato had basically told him about Naruto having the Nine Tails, and Kushina basically started to ignore him, learning of the news, and she didn't know before, because due to basically her being, after the Nine Tails attack, she was knocked out. She kind of forgot, so yeah, as she forgot a lot of memories from that night until Minato reminded her, and she basically got them back. As yeah, they'll basically she would ignore Naruto's screams of pain and begging for help, as they basically were bring him up. She wouldn't do anything. She would just keep washing her dishes. As we see another memory, as we skip to a 5-year-old Naruto, will be tied down to a table, like an experiment table, as Mito would be on one next to him, but she was not really tied down. As Naruto would be screaming, saying, "No, please don't do it. If you do it, I will die." As Kushina would basically come in and punch him in the face, knocking him out. As we basically see the doctor would basically come in the room with different type of gears and like tools, basically like doctor stuff, and they basically start to operation Naruto and Mito. As Naruto would wake up halfway to the operation to see the doctor basically taking out his heart and putting it into Mito, as he would basically as her heart was not really good, like she had heart problems and stuff like that. As yeah, Naruto basically look at Minato and then stare at Kushina straight in the eyes, as tears would basically come out of his eyes, as then he would basically drop, quote unquote, dead. But Kurama, which was still alive at the time, but now she is not in the present time. But yeah, which he was still alive at that time, basically would not want to die, as he would basically use his chakra to create a heart for Naruto, but it was only to keep him alive, as it didn't have too much power into it. So that's why Naruto never really had the will to fight back or anything, as he basically just like take the beating. As now we see another picture slash memory as we basically see Naruto on the ground half dead from the villagers beating, as his arms and leg were broken. His body had been bent to unnatural degrees. As a man named Ibiki Muno or something like that had basically tortured. Basically, the head of the torture department had been basically coming in and torturing him at least once a week, but this time was more brutal due to basically him losing his little brother the other day. So he was basically releasing his anger on Naruto as Kushina came in and wrap him in tracker chains as he would and throw him at Minato as Minato would kick him, basically sending him flying back into a cage as Mema and Mito would basically come in and lock it as they would basically start to stab him till he pass out as Kushina would simply ignore it and go outside to enjoy her life with her family even after all these events happen as Kushina would basically wake up crying as she would basically start to realize that Naruto was never a demon. He was basically a sweet boy but she basically shunned him away after learning that he's a Jinchuriki as then it would hit her. It would basically hit her. She is basically not a demon yet. She once held the exact same thing for longer as now the Naruto for freaking hell. Basically, it would hit her that the fact that she used to be a Jinchuriki and had the nine tails for even longer than Naruto, and yet she was a demon. So yeah, I should basically say, what have I done? How could I do this to my son? As then she basically have a last memory as Naruto was in his cage as Mikoto would basically come into the house and they would talk like normal until they were like walking around and Mito was coming out of the room from torturing Naruto as basically Mikoto would see how Naruto was in the cage all bloodied up as then she basically saw Minato is in the cage and stuff as she basically suddenly stop as you would say, Kushina, how could you do this? I can't believe I can't believe I once proudly called you my best friend. Don't ever speak to me again. And she'll basically leave as leaving a shock Kushina behind in confused Kushina as that night she basically took out her anger on Naruto for losing her best friend as putting him in a coma that somebody came into my room. But yeah, she basically she took out her anger after losing Mikoto. She took out her anger on Naruto, beating him up for losing her best friend, as putting him in a coma. But he never went to the hospital. He never went to the hospital. He just got stabbed by Mema and Mito. And a couple of villagers as Kushina burst into tears as she basically realized how much of a terrible mother she has been to Naruto as we basically skip back to Naruto as they'll be looking at the same statue but now there was 8 people on the fingers. There was only 2 fingers that was empty now as basically there was 4 of them from early and 4 of them were newcomers. One of them looked like a shark and one of them looked like an older version of Sasuke with kind of longer hair and like the hair going down instead of going up like a duck head. But yeah, as basically his eyes were red with 3 black tomois in it's basically the other one looked like a teenagers with blonde hair and like a ponytails and had freaking mouths on his hand as the final one looked like an old man at first but that was just a puppet, like a wooden puppet as it ended up opening from his back as a child with red hair and red eyes would basically will come out of it being, yeah, you know who these are. As basically, then Pain would basically say, I have gathered you all here to tell you that two of our members have been killed. They were hidden in Kakuzu. As the masked man would basically gasp as he would say, no, how could this happen? This is suicide. As he would basically run towards the only blonde of the group, as and put his basically head in his cloak, as he started to cry anime tears, saying, Deda Senpai, how could this happen? As Deda would push him away, saying, Get away, Toby. As Toby would basically say, Leader Sama, tell us who killed them so we can get revenge on them. As Pain would say, would now his eyes at the masked man, as would basically say, we do not know who killed them, or we not who killed them or where they are, but a male male voice would basically say, we're right here, and a female voice would say, and we're the one who killed them. But guys, freaking hell, I fucked up. Shit. A male voice would basically walked out saying, we don't want to kill him, and a female voice would basically walk out saying, oh my gosh, bro, I'm so messing up. Freaking hell. Sorry about that. Anyways, basically a male voice would walk out saying, we're right here, as a female voice would come out and saying, we don't want to kill him. As Naruto and Yuno would step out of the cave shadows, as he would basically say, basically he would basically say, we don't want to kill them, as he would basically come out of the shadows and walk right on top of the statue's head, as he would say, we should start the plane darling the fox. But guys, this short from video. I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed. Yeah, sorry about messing up at the end there. It's kind of embarrassing, but anyways, basically get a video to tell you like for next part, and yeah, I already have the script for next part, so I should be able to do it pretty fast if you get the like goal. So now wait for anyways, basically get this video to a like for next part, and without further ado, I'm gonna be out for now. Peace.